This is Nick Baisley with FilmSnobbery.com, and who am I here with tonight?
Katina Dunn.
Katina, and you're here with KUMPANIA, is that how you say it?
Yes, Compania.
I was so worried about screwing up that name. And you're here with Dances with Films, and you have this documentary. We saw the trailer. The trailer is very intense, as is the subject matter, actually. How did you decide that was what you wanted to make a documentary about?
It is a fragile art. It exists on the verges of society, just as the gypsies once existed in the same way.
It's intimate energy that you can't help but be moved by it.
It's formed my life. It's formed who I am. There's no other way I could live now.
It's a passion. I mean, once you're hooked, you're hooked.
I've been possessed by many things in my life, but this is one that has stuck.
It's a lifetime work. Once you get in it, you can't even get out of it. You know, you're stuck completely.
It's more of a language that speaks to you, and you have to get in and understand.
The only way to really understand it is to be there. You have to be there.
And the music just simply draws you in. It's hard to find anything comparable.
It's not just movement or just percussion, it's a feeling.
There's a beauty, there's a passion that is unique. You see inside somebody in a way that you just don't see any other way.
Once we love something, we love until we die.
I just fell in love with the performers when I saw them playing at Hollywood Studio Bar and Grill. I saw people perform with no resistance, just giving so much. And I originally was going to write about it, and then I thought, you got to hear it, you have to see it. It puts the story in another dimension.
Had you had any exposure to that kind of music or that kind of dance before in your past?
No, but I grew up, I'm Greek, and I grew up listening to Rebetiko music, which is another music of the outcasts. It's like the Greek blues, as flamenco is called the Spanish blues. And my family would always have contests as to who's the best singer, who's the most authentic bouzouki player. So I think I was able to approach flamenco with that understanding that I had from growing up with Greek music.
And we had talked a little bit off camera about your background as a journalist. Did you find it easy to make the transition from journalist to documentarian? Are there similarities? Are there differences between one job to the next, specifically in making this movie?
The only difference is this, is that when you're a journalist, you know when your story is going to run. You do something and you know it's going to run this week, that month, whatever. And when you make a film and then you try to place it, it can be a very long time.
Did it give you any sort of obviously filmmakers are always trying to get reviews and get placement in newspapers, whether it's headlines or whether it's, just a little review blurb or a caption or something. Did you have a little bit more respect for filmmakers who have tried to do that in the past, now having kind of worked, kind of now you're on the other side of the of the coin of now you're trying to get the publicity, and it's just like, but I'm one of you as well, It's like you approach the journalist, it's like, I'm one of you, please review my stuff or check out my stuff.
Well, when I was a journalist, but I always liked to find hidden stories. Mm-hmm. And so I always thought that another journalist would love to find a hidden treasure of LA story, because I loved finding stuff that nobody had heard about before. So I naturally figured that other people would also be like that.
As you dug deeper into the culture, not only of flamenco and dancing, but also of the people and their culture and their heritage, was there anything that you learned or that you were surprised to learn as you kind of dug deeper into it for the movie?
Well, for the artist featured in our documentary, flamenco is a way of life. I think the thing that I learned is that it isn't just the drama necessarily and the passion. And the one thing that our lead cantaor singer Antonio de Jerez taught me is that he said flamenco is also very funny and silly and goofy. It's all the aspects of life. It's not just the heavy side. It's also the very light side.
Do you find that you look at other art forms like ballet, opera, does flamenco tell a story the same way that that those art forms do? Do you find that you can watch someone doing flamenco and you can learn something, like they're trying to tell you something?
Absolutely, because there's like 100 different rhythms in flamenco, and Kai Narezo, one of our guitarists, said maybe 10 or 12 are popular in any given decade. So when you're listening to a song, it's going to be the Cigarilla, which is the very sad, deep, death song, the Alegría, the very happy song, Bulería, somewhere in between, Soleá, very heartfelt song and dance. Mm-hmm. So you will hear that story depending on what flavor they're playing.
It's interesting. And did you try to seek out people from just right here in Los Angeles, or were you looking at people all over the world who were doing this and comparing styles at all, or what was kind of the focus you decided to do for the flick?
My criteria in casting was finding those people who to me seemed extremely authentic, mm-hmm. and who performed, they just gave their all. And because, there can be touristy flamenco out there, fakey flamenco, and that's true.
Like any other art form, right?
Yeah, and so it's of course is my taste, mm-hmm. but I cast people that I felt something for.
And I'm not from Los Angeles originally, and I guess originally you're not either. When you come to a place like Los Angeles and you see different cultures, and you see their, they see the expression of those cultures like flamenco, does it empower you to want to learn more about that culture? Does it help you understand that culture better? Do you feel that if more people were to be exposed to that maybe certain, whether it's prejudices or illusions, could be kind of cast aside by watching these kind of powerful dances and these watching them basically in their element?
Yeah, I think that's true. I do. And the thing about our film is that we have performers from so many ethnicities. They are from Spain, Mexico, Japan, France, Germany. It's all a mix, and all together they fight to keep this art form alive in LA.
What do you find the differences to be between, say, a Japanese flamenco dancer because they also have their own heritage and art forms as well, versus, say, a Mexican or Spanish flamenco dancer?
The heart has no ethnicity, and neither does passion. If you've got it, you've got it. It doesn't matter who you are, and that's a beauty of the art form, I think. Because the Romani people started in 9th century from India, making all the way by 17th century Spain. They were a mix of people. Mm-hmm. You can hear a little Jewish and a little Moorish and Syrian and Spanish and Indian. You can hear it all in that music. So it was already a polyglot to form the art form, and today to have it again in LA, it fits.
How have audiences been responding to the documentary? Have you seen people kind of almost want to go get up and dance afterwards?
Yes,
or
they do. It's true. And another thing is that people tell me they went on to create something after watching it because these performers inspire them so much. I have people go, I finished this project that I couldn't get done. Or they're very inspiring because it's an art of improvisation. Mm-hmm. And it takes so much intensity to do what they do, whether it's a light or a heavy performance. Mm-hmm. It inspires people, and a lot of people also cry after seeing it. It just touches them, their devotion.
And how does that make you feel?
Gratified. Yeah. Yeah, it makes me happy.
Do you have plans to this is this is played I will try to play the trailer for everyone in the interview as well, but do you have any plans to possibly explore other explore other, whether it's dance styles or any other type of cultural, enriching type of areas after this film? Because this film's been playing for a little bit now. It's at Dances with Films now. I'm happy that you get to share it here in Los Angeles. But do you have plans afterwards to possibly start on something a little different?
My next project is a jazz-related project, and I think I just love music projects because I find them very restful for the soul. Our times now are so chaotic and so crazy, the terrible stories everywhere, war, and I just find that people need a little, maybe something to help pull them back together and soothe them a little bit, maybe.
I will say that's one thing as a journalist that you've seen which is too much. You guys typically get the you get the news before we do, and that sometimes is a good thing and sometimes not so good. So I have a lot of respect for journalists. I also have a lot of respect for documentarians because they also get an opportunity to distill information to us that we may not have access to. So, and even when it's something that is culturally enriching, such as your film, it's nice to be able to be exposed to something that is not necessarily widely available, mostly because we're not thinking about it at the time. So
it's an obscure art form. It's not well known outside of flamenco community. I made this film for people outside of the flamenco community, which is why it has a hip-hop score, to try and attract. It has traditional music, but also to attract people outside to come and look at this art form.
Was this your first film?
Yes.
What was some of the challenges in making the movie?
The biggest challenge, again, as I said, is that when you're a journalist, you know when your story's going to show. And you make a film, it's like, where's this going to go?
But actually doing the filming itself and getting through the post-production and all that, was that at all difficult, or were you...
It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure?
And the crew, I mean, we have Avi Cohen, the cinematographer, and Noah Burlow, film editor, and Jad Mucci, who also did shooting. These guys work on the very best rock and roll and hip-hop projects. And they have such a cool energy, and it definitely translates into the film.
Well, I want to thank you for coming in and discussing your film with us and giving us give us a little glimpse of it, and good luck at Dances with Films this year.
Thank you.